Happy Monday, another day in paradise in beautiful Las Vegas, and the weather is warming up. I'm so excited for that. And so are my puppies. So what's going on here the first almost week of March? Well, we have 75 days of available inventory. That's less than 3 months. And that's based on the fact that we sold 78 per day last month, February. So we shall see, because if you look at the figures now, looks like we're selling 119 sales a day this first 6 days of March. But let me caution you, I don't count closings on Saturday and Sunday, so it's really 3 days. That March figure is really the first, second, and third, because the fourth and fifth we had no closing. So that will adjust itself within a few days. Anyway, we are selling more $1 million homes. We're selling 2.73 now. We started out the year a little bit less than that. I think we were down at least at 2.3 at one point in the beginning of January, but it's inching up there as we thought it would. The median price is now $425,000. So the homes that are listed that are between 0 and $425,000 total 29% of our market, which is good, or 1,289 single family homes. Doesn't include condos, doesn't include townhomes. So just single family homes, because I think that's a vital statistic for you. If we look at the non-owner occupied, they're doing around 30 per day, which is about 28% of our market. Now, last year they were doing 30 and got 30% of the market, but our market was different. So now they're doing less sales per day, for a total this year to date of 1,236 non-owner occupieds. And of course, I always caveat that with, that's not just investors. Investors are probably about 20%, according to Jimmy Dague on Friday. So those are investors with cash. I think he did qualify that. And then I started to put up the new stats by price range. We have sold year to date 2,693 homes between 0 and 425,000. That's all classes. That includes condos, townhomes, single-family homes, and high-rises. And then between 425,000 and 600,000, we've sold 1,101 homes. And then between 600,000 and 99999, we've sold 419. So, and the high rises, we sold 112. So that kind of gives you an idea of how we're breaking down the market. And still, of course, we have the medium price and lower priced homes, which are more than half of the sales. Something good to know, so you can figure out perhaps where you might want to market. Where do you want to farm, and things of that nature. So that's a pretty vital statistic. And by Wednesday, I'll have the exact percentages of those price ranges that I've sold. Didn't have time this morning. Anyway, moving on. I think that is it's pretty good. We're down to, like I said, 75 days of inventory, and that's 4,411 single family homes, which is not that many. So on we go, right? We have to determine what's going to happen in the market. I was on a webinar this morning with a friend of mine from the East Coast, and he was sharing some statistics that I guess were on Redfin. So let's see if I have that chart here. Let's hide this. So there's not a lot of homes going on the market across the country. And this is from realtor.com. And if you see over here where I put the arrow, we're down to 312,000 available homes across the country. And you can see last year we were at 371, the year before 387,000. And we're at the lowest for this. We did year over year using February as the date. So that is going to, in some markets, the prices are going to increase. In some markets, the prices are going to go down. And that was the general consensus of the participants of the webinar that I was on this morning. Yeah, different, as we say all the time, real estate is very localized. And then the other stat that came from Redfin, which I thought was important to note, is that the typical US homeowner is spending 17, or excuse me, 12.3 years in their home. Now, I mean, we used to use, 6 years, 5 to let's see, I'm trying to remember, 5 to 10 years back in the 90s was kind of the barometer. But now things have changed, and over the years, people are staying in their homes longer. Look at this. I mean, it just has been a trend, and it goes all the way. Uh, let's see, we started in 2005 to track it. Redfin did. I think Redfin didn't come on the scene until about 2005, 2006 as a website. So anyway, so their tracking is from 2005. So you see it goes up to 7 in 2007, jumps up to 8 years in 2009, and so on until 2019, and COVID, you have 13 years, but now it's gone back down to 12. Yeah, so when you're marketing, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want everybody to get a farm, everybody to get a database, and everybody to keep the year that those people that own the home bought the home. And then you'll know, how many years they've been in the home, and when perhaps you might want to just send a little tickler out there and give them a CMA. Let them know what they bought their home for 12 years ago and what it's worth now. So, yeah, 12 years ago was 2010. So, yeah, 2010. Trying to think, prices were low then. Yeah, prices were low. I don't have my chart here handy, but prices were low. So they've got some valuable equity in there that you could possibly encourage them to buy if they're going to buy. The other thing about this that I brought up in the webinar as a participant was Vegas, 30% of our population are retirees. And so in Vegas, be careful when you are looking for who to market to, because in the senior communities, those people, they come maybe with their 55 or 60, and people are living longer. So those people are in their homes a lot longer. 15 plus years, I think, was what my fingertip analysis said. So, be careful where you're marketing. And it'd be interesting, which I think I will do, is actually do this chart for Vegas and see how Vegas compares to the median homeowner across the country. So that'll be an interesting stat for you to utilize in your marketing efforts. If you're doing listings, which hopefully you are, you get a seller, it turns into a buyer. And if they have more equity, then the other nugget that I didn't get to share with people today, because we ran out of time. It was 5 o'clock this morning. So yeah, that was 8 o'clock on the East Coast. But anyway, they can buy down the interest rate because they have all that equity. Now that's not everywhere, but we were the number one foreclosure capital in the world. So a lot of people bought their homes at great prices, and it took us a while to edge the prices up there. So they probably have enough equity that they could buy down the interest rate, which, by the way, went down just a tad today. So we'll see. It went under 7. So we'll see what happens going forward. Anyway, so much going on in the market. It is really hard to predict, but it is very interesting. And the market belongs to those who market. And I must have said that 10 times on Friday, but today we're going to talk about videos. And I segmented this into making video content for social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. So we're going to go to our next segment now and dive right into that. So I made a PowerPoint, and for you to follow along, because I do have my own script I'm going to refer to. And making video content for social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook for the internet at large is a significant undertaking. And it requires commitment to planning, to effort, energy, and all that stuff that you have limited resources because you're busy running a business. building a business. And yet video seems to want more and more and more of your time. And social media works, and social media, excuse me, wants more and more of your time. If you seem to look at the algorithms of Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or any platform, they seem to be somewhat greedy in terms of demanding more and more content from you. Well, that's the way they get viewers. And it's a crowded field out there. I'm sure you see that. So it's getting more and more crowded in the feeds and taking more and more energy and effort on your part to win. So this becomes a massive challenge. And of course, we've been preaching video for years and years. I mean, when we started our website, we started it with videos, taking videos of the different communities in Las Vegas, the strip and some of the things that went on down there. And then as over the years, we've expanded to where we have 55 videos about Las Vegas. The Raiders, we've got the Golden Knights. And as the town builds, of course, we have to do more videos because people, why? Why, you should ask? Because people love to watch the videos. So it's become more and more popular as social media has. I mean, we used to have Facebook and LinkedIn, and then Instagram comes along and TikTok, and then YouTube now is becoming very, very much a place where people are watching. So you can't ignore it. So the way I see it, you've got three choices. Are you ready? The rule of three, right? The rule of three. Remember, your mother used to count to three, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to get in trouble. So you can't quit your day job and just make video all day long. And that's probably not even an option. But you could just keep doing what you're doing. The minimum, but that's not going to solve the problems of feeling exhausted and overwhelmed, even when you do the minimum videos that you should be doing. You could identify a smarter way to work. And how could you get more output for less input? Meaning, what's your strategy going to be? How are you going to manage this time, that new time that you have to spend doing videos? Well, I cut this down into three different types of videos you could produce that are highly effective and today, very effective today. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. There's 3 videos that are efficient, highly effective vertical videos that will work for you to produce in your business. And my dogs are fighting here for some reason. Well, let's see. I think I need to move my slide over. Yeah. Okay. So without further ado, let's dive into the topic. That 3 videos that are easy to produce, effective and efficient, and get the right return for your effort. So now I dive into the actual caveat here. This is not about gear. I think I'm going to mention one piece of equipment, well, maybe 2, your phone and the Osmo. But other than that, your phone will work fine. Lighting. There are just some tips about like don't always make your videos in daylight, because sometimes that makes yourself look harsh if you're doing a selfie. But anyway, let's move on. So great quality content isn't necessarily a measure of the gear you use. Just remember that. It's all about what you say and how you connect. So today's lessons don't really make a consideration for the kind of gear you're using. I just want to really make that clear. I would encourage you to be cognizant of, is this something I can do on repeat? Repeat, lather, rinse, repeat, lather, rinse. And that's going to generate your biggest return for your efforts. So the first video that we're going to talk about is a talking head video. I know that sounds super creative, right? Well, thank you so much for that. I don't mean to boast, but that's what I think that we're going to call it, right? And let's see here. Where to begin here? Let me move my slide here a little bit so we can follow along. Okay. So I want you to think about who follows you on Facebook and Instagram and on the major platforms. And I'm willing to bet it's people who already know you, theoretically know you and like you. So the question is, do they trust you? And from a professional standpoint, it's probably a sphere of influence, contacts, past clients, and folks like that. And it may be other folks who are in your local marketplace who are just getting a sense of who you are and listening in from time to time. So I want you to consider how important video could be in terms of driving people's trust to work for you. So think about that. You're making calls to your database contacts on the regular, right? Right. You're making phone calls every day, I hope. You're talking to your sphere of influence. Maybe you're knocking on doors, having open houses. You're talking to past clients because you want to maintain a relationship, to know, like, and trust you relationship. So, however, it's not always the easiest um, to get into a real estate conversation over the phone. You just want to maybe check in, and you don't always want to talk about real estate when you're checking in with people, unless they ask, of course. But on social media, okay, there's nothing stopping you whatsoever. So you can produce video after video after video where you give away information, you share advice, you demonstrate your expertise, and it's working for you all the time. Yeah. I mean, one thing about, the reels and the things that they evaporate. So you want to do more of those. You can do more of those or rinse and repeat those because they don't last forever. Just keep that in mind. So every single video, every single post, it's demonstrating what a competent agent you are. So you want people to say, oh, they're really, really knowledgeable. That's the gal, that's the guy that I don't think about. That's great. So that when you make that phone call and they say, hey, I was watching your video. Well, how about this or how about that? Maybe you're doing a video about inspections. Maybe you're doing a video about staging. And so people have seen you and they say, oh, well, you were talking about staging. Well, maybe I think of selling my house. Do you think I should get it staged? I mean, these things just come up in casual conversation when you're having those conversations with people. So your videos are positioning you as an expert so that you can truly check all three boxes: know, like, and trust. So if you look at the platforms of Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, when you're building vertical videos, reels, shorts, and so forth, all those platforms provide a feature or an effect that's called a green screen. So it's like the weather person. They have a green screen. What it can do is remove whatever background is behind you, superimpose the talking head, overlaid on top of whatever your background is. And so what a lot of rock star agents are doing across the country is they're grabbing green screen shots or screen recordings of real estate news, even articles, and maybe like, our stats that we put up there, and you can overlay yourself on that. And then you share that commentary on what matters in a local context for your followers on all those platforms. I do want to just interject something here, and that is TikTok. I mean, I keep hearing on the news that they are going to more than likely ban it. I went to Chat GPT and I asked Chat GPT what they thought, but they're not into 2023, so they are not aware. ChatGPT AI, artificial intelligence, was not aware of what's going on in Congress right now, which is banning, some places are actually banning people that work for them or whatever from watching TikTok. So, yeah, that's something to consider. And if that's the only platform you're on, if you are just repurposing over there, keep doing that because that's not hurting anything. But I would just rather not see people make that their number one platform. And Facebook still yields the best from a lead standpoint. Now, I know a lot of Instagrammers get a lot of fun because they're so good. And I don't want to mention some names, but I do know a few people here in Vegas that are really killing it on Instagram when it comes to having a following. I think Facebook, because you have all the different avenues to post, to boost, to advertise, to with the hashtags and some of the things you can do on Facebook that you can't do on some of the other platforms. I still think that it's the place, should be your number one place, and then YouTube number two. Anyway, I digress a little bit. I'm sorry. So when one of the things about all these platforms is that people are watching videos with the sound off. Yeah, let's see if I have this in my notes here real quick. Facebook conducted a study. You can't see the rest of it on the screen there, but they determined that 85% of videos are watched with the sound off. That's something, huh? 85% of the people. So what does that mean? That means you need captions. And so subtitles or captions in videos are now critical. And there's different platforms. There's an app called Captions app. There's VEEDIO is another one. So when they can't hear you, they're watching with the sound off. Why? Because they're laying in bed, or they don't want to disturb their partner, or something like that. They're watching with the sound off, especially if they're in their main feeds, is what Facebook has determined. And if you're in the news feed of Facebook, or if you're in the main feed of Instagram, by default, the sound is turned off by default. So there are some platforms where that's not the case, but folks still turn their volume down. And a recent Facebook study, like we just shared, determined that 85% are watched with the sound off. So I really want you to pay attention to that and use these other apps where they will do captions. And you can get some fun animated sort of captions with different colors and fonts to dress up your videos. And you can also consider hiring a freelance editor who's working in Premiere Pro or something like that. Or just go to Fiverr or Upwork to find yourself a freelance editor. So that's Talking Head Videos. Know you, like you, trust you. Demonstrate your expertise. So that was the first one. Now we're going to go on to the next, number two. So Talking Head Videos are number one. So number two are selfie gimbal tours. They're the second type of video to produce. Okay. Let me explain what that means. And then we'll talk about why it's important and how to execute on it. In terms of what it is, we all get what a selfie is. It's when you grab your phone and you look like this and it looks at you and it's a selfie. So what's a gimbal? The gimbal is the best one I have found is DJI Osmo gimbal. And you just mount the iPhone on it and it stabilizes the shot. I don't have one to demonstrate with me today, but I'm sure you've all seen them. Anyway, when you're walking, you don't have that bouncy choppiness as if you were holding it with your arm. It stabilizes the shot. Now, I know that the new iPhones also have the action mode, and that helps stabilize the shot as well. But the gimbal really, that's their main function. And it's twofold, okay? Because it stabilizes the shot. So it's continuous because we're getting a tour of some type. And number two, there's little controls on it that you can turn the recording on and off, zoom in, swivel it, all kinds of controls that make it easier for you. So we're talking about selfie gimbal tours. Tours of what? Well, tours of properties, maybe tours of neighborhoods, maybe tours of communities at large. Maybe that sort of thing, but ideally tours of properties, because that's what people want to see. Because if you think about the last video segment, we were demonstrating expertise. You were showing the consumer with the green screen headshot that know, like, and trust you. You were demonstrating expertise. So touring properties puts you inside that as well. So it showcases let me try that again. It showcases a social proof aspect of, oh, wow, you really look busy. You're showing properties and you're out in the field. You must have a lot of listings and things like that. That's what goes through people's heads. So I would encourage you to consider having more property tour videos. And Well, you might say, I don't have any listings. Okay, well, ideally, these would be your listings, but truly, ideally, if they're not, what else could you tour? Well, you could reach out to agents who have listings at your office and ask for proper consent. Can I tour your property? And I'll give you all the proper consent form so that you can give it to me in writing. You want it in writing. You want to always protect yourself. I can't stress that enough. But don't just do videos of other people's listings if you don't get it. So you could also talk to new construction developments. We have enough of those here, right? And see if you can't tour their properties. Most of them would probably say sure, because why? Because you're promoting their properties to a larger demographic of potential buyers. And so if you get pushback, you just tell them that, hey, I'm gonna be posting this on social media and driving more buyers for you. The purpose of me doing it is because I want people to know, like, and trust me and understand that I do understand about the market here in Las Vegas and all the great homes that you are building. Just get your spiel down and so that you can just roll it off your tongue if they give you any pushback. And you truly have the seller's best interest in mind, and they should not object. Okay, so what do you do once you have the subject property you want to tour? Well, here's the best practices. Very important. Actually executing, let me flip our screen here. Actually executing on one of these selfie gimbal tours. So you want to arrive at the property, make sure it's all prepped and ready for the video. So walk in, turn the lights on, open up the blinds, stuff like that. And then when you're ready to start filming, you've got your gimbal and your selfie, and you're out in front, and you start by saying to the camera, selfie style, hey, welcome to 123 Vegas Street, blah, blah, blah. And you give a quick intro, very quick, but try to hook them. Okay. Like if it's in Summerlin, for instance, or Green Valley or whatever, things that people might recognize that they might want to watch. And you can't, just remember, when you market, the market belongs to those who market, but you need to be targeted at the same time. And so maybe, don't worry about saying, oh, this is Summerlin, because maybe next week you'll be in Green Valley, and you'll attract those people that want to live in those areas over time. So then you use a swivel control, on the gimbal. And I showed you that, well, I didn't get a chance to show you, but it rotates the camera. So now it's forward facing, and you begin touring the property, because now you're looking at the property, and you walk through the property. And my advice is, walk through every room. You walk through the corner of that room, turn and pan from left to right, so that so that you show the whole room, and then you walk to the next corner. In terms of where you hold the gimbal, it's very important that you center it, because you don't want the ceilings to look low because you had it up here, and you don't want and then you don't want it to look funky because you held it down here. So make sure that you don't hold it up too high and you don't hold it down too low. You hold it right in the center. So the camera about middle, so that it has what we call equidistance between the ceiling and the floor, to give you a proportional view. That's just a little hack. So now you're going to also want to use your phone zoomed out to that 0.5 to get that wide lens view on your phone. If you're using a phone, I would also encourage you to consider 4K, so you get a higher definition, a higher resolution. And there's something on your phone also now called FPS, and that's frames per second. It's by default set to 30 frames a second. Well, if you tap it on your phone, you can change it to 60 frames a second, which will give you a lot more quality to the shot. So that's it. Hold mid-level. Okay, so you have the ceiling and the floor equally spaced, 60 frames a second, 4K at 0.5% magnification. So zoomed out for that wide lens look. Now, if you want to get super fancy and you're an Apple user, did you know that you can use this camera, the good camera on your iPhone, not the selfie one, the good camera, the bigger one, and that you can actually pair it with your Apple Watch so that you can see what it sees. That's all. That might be a little advanced for some of you, but if you have an Apple Watch, you can try it. Okay, it's not like you're live. And then make sure that you're in frame so that you do the selfie portion. So that's just a little tip. Oh yeah, you can do that. Once you've done with the tour, you can download an app like Splice. Okay, so let's see. Let me move forward here with my slideshow. I forget I even have it. Sorry. Okay, so we get down here. Yeah, that's some of the things I just said. And now we're down here to the middle of the PowerPoint where it says using an app like Splice. It's like $4 or $5 a month. Okay, and go look it up, and you can use it for a super quick edit. Yeah, I know. Now you're going to have to edit it. I gotcha. I hear you. One of the features of Splice I like a lot is what's called speed ramping. Now, this is very important, and this is why I'm bringing this particular app to your attention. You can speed up and slow down the footage so that as people are walking or looking from side to side, corner to corner, you can speed it up. Okay, slow it down for the turn, speed it up, slow it down for the turn to create one of those really nice looking videos of touring a property. So when you're walking to the next room or something, you just speed it up. And then when you're looking at the room, you slow it down. You can shoot the video in a matter of minutes, edit the video in a matter of minutes, and you're done and on to the next. And it becomes a rinse, lather, repeat type of process to your video marketing. Okay. Very, very easy to do. And, you know, we're in real estate. We love looking at properties. So that's what we love to do. And you can go on the MLS and find properties, you know, that, are going to video really well because they've got good pictures and it's a nice house. So, you know, you can do all that. So now we're going to talk about number 3. And that's our local spotlight voiceover. Yeah, we're getting into some pretty technical things here with video, but that's how you learn to feel comfortable, right? Uncomfortable becomes comfortable with practice and more practice. So now this is a local spotlight, and then we'll talk about the voiceover in a second. So first of all, a local spotlight is you're using your phone, your camera to shine the spotlight, or maybe a local business, a local attraction, some little treasure that's in the community where you want your followers to know how much you love and know about your community. So it's you shining the spotlight on something local. So you get the local spotlight part of it, right? Not rocket science. So let's talk about the voiceovers. If you're making vertical videos like Reels or YouTube Shorts or TikTok, all these platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, they all provide a function called a voiceover, whereby when you're making your clips, you're putting your clips together to make the reel, you have the ability to record or overdub a voiceover after the fact. Yeah, so what a lot of folks are doing is they're out at a cool restaurant, right? In Vegas, we got a lot of those. And you're just grabbing little clips of the delicious hamburger or the new, maybe you're out in one of the communities and there's a nice trail, or maybe you're up at one of the new, let's say downtown Summerlin, and there's a new shop there, whatever, just something that makes people realize that you're out and about your local area. So anyway, so you're grabbing your phone, you're documenting at random and sending it to your camera roll. And then after the fact, you're going to take all those clips and you're going to make the reel and put them together in somewhat the template, you know about templates, I hope. And then they're using the voiceover function. You're using the voiceover function that Reels provides you to record one cohesive narrative perspective of, hey, we're taking a walk in the town square of Vegas, and we noticed that there's a new trail system and it's all complete. And then you start talking about what the clips are saying and showing them in your video. It's a voiceover function, and it's really easy for you to do. So that means you can film it at random, okay, without the pressure of, oh, I'm on and my camera ready. Do I look right? Do I know what I'm going to say? None of that matters because you're documenting clips as you go about your day. And then at the end, when you want to put it all together to make the reel, you simply tie it together with one cohesive voiceover. In a world where making content and planning and prepping to make videos takes a lot of effort, this is about as easy as it gets because you can truly do it on the fly. And these videos perform really well, by the way. One hack to record voiceovers. If you don't have a professional quality mic, okay, now this is, don't laugh at me, okay? So, and you want to have a really nice, crisp voice with no reverberation, no echoing. Go into your closet and record the voiceover because your clothes are going to absorb that tinniness and make you sound softer. So that's just a little hack for you. The clothes absorb any sound that's bouncing off the walls, and it will make for a really, really nice quality, crisp, no reverb voiceover. And it sounds professional, even when it was just recorded on your phone. So that is the Spotlight voiceover video. So we went over three. Let's see, we went over three. Yes. So we went over the 3 ways. Number 1 was the local spot, or the last one was the local Spotlight voiceover, the selfie gimbal tour, and the expert advice, which is the first one we talked about. So and then always encourage your viewers to share which video that you want them to share and to leave additional efficient video ideas in the comments. So you want people to share and you want them to comment. So you need to find out how you want to say that so that you can ask them and you've got something that you don't stumble over when you ask them that. Well, that is it. And I hope you enjoyed that. We went through it rather quickly, but we did have some help here with the PowerPoint of just the spotlights. So y'all have a wonderful day. Continue to make video, and we will see you on Wednesday, and we will have a class. I knew I had one more thing I needed to say. I'm a little bit over time today. We have a class on Thursday, and that class is law, and it's a required CE class, 3 hours. Jimmy Day created it, and it is Thursday from 10 to 1. So go to be.vegas, sign up. We have a bundle, so you can save some money if you bundle 6 at a time. Saves you get 1 class free. And then we normally give a free book away for Zoomers and for live participants, just as a way of saying thank you. And we're grateful that you are loyal to us and loyal to Jimmy. He's a fantastic presenter, and we're so blessed to have him in our life. And he's keeps everything exciting and fun, keeps us laughing. And Jimmy and I have a lot of fun because we ham and egg it a little bit. Love you all. Have a great day, and I will see you Wednesday.